evening, County Commission meeting. Here's your agenda. This is a workshop session. It does not show that they will vote on anything tonight except possibly an executive session. They're just going to discuss these matters like the budget, homestead, floss, the floss, and the reevaluation issues with property taxes. We're going to discuss that too. There was an article either last week or the week before in the Wiregrass Farmer, I can't remember which, where that was discussed. And we'll be starting in just a few minutes. Brad Calhoun will be on the far left. He's not here yet. Dana Whidden, James Burgess. Joe Burgess is not here. He will sit between Mr. James Burgess and Nick Denham. And then Attorney Jamar Sheriff.
So I found a place in Sylvester that had them. They're going to business. I bought $150. Bought a whole bag. Y'all got some lunch? Yeah, you know, the river and you hung up in these trees. I don't can't get it. I'll make it any effort. Any effort. Yeah, I use them both.
Like aluminum or
Chartreuse, copperhead. Red breast, level.
I've been watching some videos on that.
I do it, the little spiders.
You got some of those guys over there.
I just miss it too.
Looking up online.
It's the guy in the road fishing. I'm watching videos. A little kayak night.
I didn't know that. It might later on in the future there. Yes, that actually means we don't have any problem with that. Okay.
That's all good.
Well, I just want to make sure, I know it's our building, but I just want to make sure that we wouldn't step on them, but.
We don't.
They come over there and start throwing rocks at them. It's not all expecting that building.
We don't even use that thing.
More stuff.
I'm sure y'all will call it when you have a meeting, right? I'm sure y'all will call it.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get here today, but I got up again tomorrow. And then if I get through in time, you got anything going on more after that?
There.
And if not, maybe Thursday.
Yeah, I think that's a better meeting today was.
What's that? shared. Once I shared Rob with it, he's in the county. Once I shared Rob with it, he's in the county.
I appreciate you doing it.
Yes, sir. I tried my best, you guys, things go wound up 20 people combined, even things. And we had a good time, we stayed in shade, stayed hydrated. Then I went and played, course down in Kingston, I played twice in 1 week, I think I played twice all year before that. Yeah, a little bit. I contributed to Pilsen job.
You're fine, you're fine. My thing is coming up with
All right, well, it is 6 o'clock, so we will call this meeting to order. We will start with the invocation by Mr. Baker, if you don't mind.
Sure. Lord, we just come before you on this day, and we just give you thanks today for the rain you've sent. Lord, you know our farmers need it. Please continue to send what they need at the proper time so they can grow the crops that we all need, Lord. Thank you for the way you blessed us. Thank you for what you've given and what you've kept away. Lord, put a special hand of protection upon those in public safety. And we ask especially on this night, that as this board meets, that you grant them the wisdom they need to make the right decisions in your sight, to make this a community that you two are proud of. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. You all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright. First item is the adoption of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Alright. The next item is public comments concerning agenda items. Yes, Ms. Winter?
What I'm giving you is a breakdown of voters for Turner County and how many of the people that are voters actually are in my building and see the condition of it. The first column is the dates of the election. The next column is the people that voted election day. That also includes Sycamore that's in my building. Advanced voting is how many people are in my building, generally in a 3-week period. Now, I have a feeling there aren't many county buildings that can say that they had 2,000 people in 3 weeks in their building. The next column is the number of ballots I mailed, and then the total of how many voted in that each election. My understanding is that the grand jury is supposed to review every county building every year. I have never seen it. I've never seen anybody in my building, so I don't know if it's happening or not. I just want you to be aware that the general taxpayers and the voters from Turner County see the election building, and they're there. And not once a year, but as you can see, in 2022, they were in there 4 times. And then in 2024, they were also back in there. And we've got a very good turnout, which I'm proud of. But we want the county to look at the building and not be ashamed of the condition it's in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winter. I think we all agree that our county buildings need, some improvements across the board, so thank you for, providing us with some data as we just had those discussions.
Good evening. First thing I'd like to say, I'm proud of our county commissioners, and I'm glad to see that you guys got over your chastising from the last meeting that you got, from a lady, one of our constituents. You know, it's a shame that, you know, till you put yourself in those shoes, you know, you just have to kind of take a deep breath. What we're looking at is, I've talked to Mr. Jan, that parking and driveway at the building, the elections office, as well as the, American Legion, is atrocious. I mean, the edges of that thing is all busted up. It's only 10'6" wide. It's being used as a bus stop, and the buses are the school buses destroyed. Now, what I have done is I got with the concrete companies, and I'm still trying to negotiate the numbers, and I've got with a concrete installer, and we're still trying to negotiate those numbers. But what we're gonna do is widen that driveway 4 foot. The sweeps will be an additional 6 foot, because the bus, you can see the route, the ruts that the bus makes, is half on the asphalt, half on the ground, okay? Resurface, concrete the parking lot. And now we're just gonna go over the top of this stuff. And the reason why we're making it wider is so we don't have to dig up that asphalt. Gotta dig up the grass area that's intruded onto the asphalt. There's also a slab on the north side of the building, and we're gonna bring that into the concrete driveway. Also, there's an 8.5-inch step from the edge of that platform, or that open foyer, down to the ground. Okay, code 7.5, that's as high as you can go. That's a massive step. Also, to do this project, they're gonna have to take out 12 foot of the asphalt from 41 back to the existing asphalt, so they can put a tapered ledge on it to bring it down within 3/4 of an inch of 41 on both ends. As well as they're gonna have to take out 12 foot of the handicap ramp, because of the fact they're gonna build it up 3.5 inches to taper it back so we can meet HDA, Handicap Disability Association. From the numbers that I've got without negotiating, they're looking at about 45K. What I would like to see done is, I think that the county and the 3 cities should all contribute to it. It can all be paid out of SPLOST. Now, the county, Sycamore, and Ashburn get the pie. Rebecca gets the pan. We get a small percentage, but we're willing to pay our part, our percentage out of SPLOST towards this. So the county don't have to eat it all. And due to the fact that it is contributing to the American Legion, which is the military, and I'm very strong in the military. I got 4 grandkids right now, 3 in the Army and 1 in the Navy, and I'm proud of them. And I think that every city, and I would be willing, the reason I'm bringing it towards the county is, if you, the county commissioners, are online with this, then I will meet with the other 2 cities. I'll go to the other 2 city council meetings and meet with them and present this to them and see if we can get everybody online. Now, the only thing you have, we'll pay for the concrete direct. Don't go through the concrete, the installer, and then we'll pay the installer direct. I'm not getting a dime out of it. I'll contribute all the time that I can to it. I don't want anything. I just I'd like to see it fixed up, cleaned up a little bit, you know, and I mean, and it's atrocious. If you get a chance to go by and look at it, I mean, the wings going out to the road, they're only 2 foot. They gotta be 5 foot, and that's code. The edges of them, like I say, are all broke up. So, you know, if the county is, if you feel like the county is on board with it, then I'll proceed. If the county's not on board with it, then, you know, I feel like it's a waste of my time. Like I say, the most that would cost would be 45 grand. And if it costs anything over that, I'll pay for it out of my own pocket. That's the best I can do. So like I say, yes, sir.
Dustin's got a asphalt crew down there too.
I was just talking to him, the asphalt's gonna cost more to put asphalt on it than it would be to concrete, yes, sir. And you still got, all the labor, because you gotta clean all this grass and cut the edges and everything just to asphalt it and widen it, because of the fact that if you just leave it at the width it is right now, as soon as that bus drives off the edge of the asphalt, it's done with.
So you're saying concrete holds semicircle there?
I'm talking about where you can see the dirt where the bus drives in, and what we're gonna do is start back it's about 24 feet, and come out about 6 foot, and make that swing all concrete, so the bus will stay on the driveway and not into the yard, into the grass, and like I say, if you pour asphalt over that 2 inches of asphalt, as soon as that bus drives off the edge, you can hang it up, it's gonna bust it all to pieces, so then you're throwing good money out the bad. And I mean, I've been a contractor for over 40 years, I got a land development license, I put in miles and miles and miles of road down south, all that against me, but, the down south part. But, concrete's the way to go, that will have commercial fiber in it, and, they'll haul off any debris that's left over, cause they're gonna have to dig out some grass, to bring it from the driveway over to the open lanai. See, then you're only gonna have like a 5-inch step from there down, without everybody having to go down the handicap ramp and then drop, go around to the parking lot.
Would that be 4 or 6 inches?
Big part of
The thickness of the.
4 inches. Yes, sir. It'll be 3,500 pound of fiber, commercial fiber. It'll withstand school bus name. You couldn't park a semi on it, or drive a semi, hopefully we ain't driving a semi on it. And also in that aspect of it, we're gonna widen the handicap parking area 5 foot to where you'll have 3 handicap parking areas, and that also includes having the handicap areas striped. So like I say, if the county's on board with it, I'll go to the other towns and see what they say. I know Rebecca's on board with it. So, and like I say, we got a small piece of the pie, but we're still willing to put our money where our mouth is. All righty, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner.
You're welcome, sir.
And next, we will move into general discussion. The first item is the 2025-2026 budget.
Chair, may I present the changes to the budget that we have now?
Yes.
Okay, at our last meeting on June the 24th, a proposed budget, balanced budget was presented. The changes were to the fire department. The total was $580,937. The total for the clerk of Superior Court was $509,753. Tax commissioner, $361,572. District attorney, and you all don't have these changes, I should have made a copy, but these are just what was presented last time. The district attorney, $118,294. Magistrate was $106,152. Building maintenance was $139,777. Sheriff office was $2,110,126. Board of Equalization was $5,739, and the pay increase was only for half of the year at $57,000, and it was proposed to use $235,000 of jail funds to offset the general fund budget. Now, the new changes are as follows. Instead of using $235,000 to offset the general fund budget, we're only gonna use $90,000 from the jail fund budget to balance the general fund. Expenditures, the magistrate budget will change from $106,000 to $101,000. $5,000 is being taken away from magistrate salary line item. Fire, we are removing $98,000 for the pumper payment, so the fire budget will go from $580,937 to $482,937. The capital improvement, we removed the whole 100K, now it's 0. And the 2% increase for the pay increase will now go from $57,000 to $115,000, funding the raises for the whole year. Those are the only changes that have been made. The library money is still in, and all the other department totals that were presented on the 27th are still the same. So, this is what we have now. We still have a balanced budget right now at 12,179,800, I'm sorry. 12,179,800. That is on the revenue side, and that is on the expenditure side. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Latrice. I have a question, as I've just received this budget on Friday and didn't have any influence over the changes that were made, who actually was involved in making these changes?
Conversation was had with Commissioner Burgess, Denham, and Commissioner Calhoun. You was out of town, Commissioner Williams was out of town.
It was an in-person meeting?
Phone?
Okay, because you referred to me being out of town, is it?
No, I'm saying you was out of town on vacation, right?
No, I'm on vacation.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, let's be honest. This is a status quo budget. There's nothing in this that adds something new to improve the quality of life for the people of Turner County. Nothing for our seniors, for our youth, nothing that moves us forward. Instead, we're cutting the fire department's pumper truck payment, which we all know that we have to pay. That's just careless, reckless, bad budgeting, bad accounting. We're removing the $100,000 for capital improvement, something that I'm having meetings weekly on getting grant funding for this capital improvement project, that we will need these funds to match that project. We're asking to include the grant, the funding for the raises, which were a part of my initial proposal, that these same commissioners asked for it to be removed, and now it's back. We've watched this board push pet projects, bad deals, like the ABM, real estate deals that give nothing back to the people. We go through amendment after amendment every year, spending money that was never budgeted for. And then we turn around and produce this budget that costs more, but does nothing new. Turner County doesn't need another year of playing it safe while our needs grow louder. This budget does not have a vision. I cannot support this, and as long as I sit on this board, I will continue to speak up and push for a budget that actually gives something back to the people, something new. And I won't be supporting this budget.
Mr. Sheriff.
Yes.
So Sheriff, I have a couple questions for you. Did you write a letter for me supporting the, salary increase for the magistrate?
You asked me for a support letter from Blake, and I did write you a letter.
Do you stand behind that letter?
A letter that I wrote you, yes.
Do you,
If you would read it it'd be nice.
I gave it to the chair, I don't know that the chair has it with him. But do you think that what I recommended was merited for what Blake is doing for you, the magistrate is doing for the sheriff's department?
I think Blake does an excellent job for the county. I think he saves us a lot of money from us not having to haul inmates to the courthouse. He comes to our building every day and he takes care of business without us having to put liability out on the street. But I think that I wasn't here for the meeting, I was on vacation whenever y'all had this last meeting. And I think raise, it was a recommendation for him, he's doing an excellent
Yeah,
job.
I don't recall saying the word raise, but
I don't
I
have a
did say you
problem
wrote a letter.
with anything you pay any other county employee, that's y'all's prerogative. And I support him, just like I support Robbie. If you ask me to write one for Robbie,
Thank you, Sheriff, you answered my question, I appreciate it. So, I think this change, this one change has nothing to do with whether the magistrate merits it or not. I think that he does, I would believe that everyone on this board believes that he does. I think that this change specifically was done because I advocated for it, as a way to poke me in the eye. It's a shame, because I think I fought for it because I believe that the magistrate goes above and beyond and does things to keep this community safer, make the public safety operations more efficient, and he gives up a lot of his personal time outside of business hours. He uses his personal vehicle. So it is, in my mind, a petty change to our budget. And that's just my personal opinion. As for the other changes, since I wasn't included in the discussion, and I can say for certain that the commissioners were included in the discussions with the first budget, despite what they would say. And the 2% increase was provided initially, and you specifically asked for it to be delayed until January. So I find this very hypocritical on your part. So I find the $98,000 pumper truck payment, does not comply with generally accepted accounting principles. It is, in direct contradiction to what our auditor said we should stop doing. This is a way to manipulate the budget to justify giving money to a department and ignore the fact that this payment is still gonna occur. I cannot support this budget the way it is written. And I will not support it, so you will not have my vote is for this budget.
I have a question. On the raise for magistrate court judge, I didn't see any other elected officials' name or raise. I don't understand why we I just don't think it's right to give one elected official a raise. If we're gonna give a raise, we need to give it all up.
Well, this was the one individual where I had documentation to where he did things above and beyond. If you wanted to put another,
I'm just saying,
constitutional officer
I
in,
don't think
I
it's
believe
fair.
the sheriff
I'm
gets a
saying-
supplement,
You
does
said what
he
you
not?
said, now let me talk.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair. I have nothing against Blake Christian at all. I just don't think it's fair to give him a raise if we don't consider giving all the elected officials a raise. That's all I got to say.
Do we give a supplement to any of the other elected officials?
Yes, we do, all of them.
So Penny gets a supplement, the sheriff gets a supplement?
Are they equivalent? Do they all get the same supplement?
It's one of them that they get the same,
Is one of them, or is the supplement?
it's a
'Cause I'm
supplement
pretty
for
sure that's not-
$100 supplement that they get $1,200 a year.
Well, I know the
All of
elected
them get
officials
that
have,
supplement, all of them get that
they
supplement,
get that one,
right.
right, but there are other supplements that elected officials are getting that some are
It's
not.
only Andy get a supplement for, safety.
I'm pretty sure there's more than that.
Who?
I think Penny gets supplements that Mary Lee doesn't get.
Well, it's already embedded in the table.
So that's true,
The-
right?
the
Is that true?
worksheet. It's
That's
already
true.
in the worksheet.
But that's true,
But
right?
it's nothing that the county is providing extra. That's already on the worksheet from the
Well,
state of
I mean,
Georgia.
this can be solved one of two ways. The magistrate can just require, as they used to, everything come up to the courthouse. We can give him a vehicle to use that versus his personal vehicle. But I was looking at what he went above and beyond. If you think that another constitutional officer who isn't getting a secondary supplement for, like, safety, so if you think Mary Lee or Penny deserve a supplement and you can get justification, I will entertain it, 100%. I had documentation to support this one. But I don't believe that's the reason that this was done. I believe this was done for petty reasons. And that's just my feeling. Whether it's true or not, that's my feeling. But I know what he does. I see it every day. And so, I can't speak for Blake. I just want him to know that I appreciate what he does, and what he chooses to do going forward is up to him. But I think that this was wrong. So. But asked me if I would support another constitutional officer supplement. You didn't afford me that opportunity, so you don't know what I would've said. That's what-
Alright, any more discussion? Alright, the next one is discuss the camera system at State Court. Oh, skip one, discuss the floating homestead local option sales tax lost. I can intro this. So I know we all agree that we want to put lost on the referendum. There are some details that I believe the attorney wants to discuss with us. I think, Mr. Schiff, we need to figure out if, what do we need to have right now for the referendum, and what can we do in the process while it's being added to the referendum?
So, to be clear, speaking with this winter, we were supposed to have this, ready for her by the end of the month, so she can put it on the November ballot.
Can you speak up a little bit?
I'm sorry. So we were supposed to have this done by the end of, July for this winter to put on the November ballot, for a 90-day call. There are arguments that it could be done in, less than 90 days, and we're going to, use those arguments because obviously we don't have everything that we need at this point. What we need to know is mainly what are going to be the percentage breakdowns between each municipality. We need to know which municipalities actually implement and add Valorum tax or property tax, because there may be some municipalities that are considered absent municipalities in that they don't necessarily have a property tax. There needs to be discussions between the local governments of these municipalities so that we can come to an agreement on the percentages and how they're going to be split. We need to make sure that we can even be able to do this, because we have to make sure that nobody opted out of the statute that allows us to do this. We also need to be able to be sure that 50% or more of the people who are taxed, that they are included in this floss agreement. So we kind of, if we were to try and give this winter something right now, it would be putting the cart before the horse. We need to have these high-level discussions with these other municipalities, come to an agreement, draft the intergovernmental agreement, have their attorneys look at it. If there are any negotiations, any changes that need to be made, then we come back, we renegotiate, finally come to an agreement with the IGA, and then at that point, once the IGA is signed by all of these participating municipalities, then we can give Ms. Winter something to put on the ballot as far as whether or not Turner County is going to allow for this floss to pass. Yes, ma'am.
What I need now is just to be able to tell the ballot builders that there will be something on the ballot. Because they know that we'll have Rebecca and we'll have Sycamore's election. I just need to give them the assurance that it will be coming. In other words, don't finalize my ballots. So we've got extra time, it's just we need to make sure we're moving forward.
I thank you for that, Ms. Winter. So you heard it straight from the source. We just need to know who is going to be on the ballot. And that means we need to go ahead and start having these conversations with Rebecca, Sycamore, start.
It's gonna be pretty much the same thing we do with SPOS.
Yeah.
So
To your point, it can't go on the ballot until Rebecca Sycamore and they all agree.
right.
We said that we would like it on the ballot, but we can't affirmatively put it on the ballot without Rebecca Sycamore and the other people agreeing that it's gonna go on the ballot.
Right, the prerequisite for it is to have the intergovernmental agreement. And once you have that, then we can start working on putting it on the ballot. If you don't, you can't pass floss without having a floss agreement, because you pass floss, how are you gonna split money? There's the state statute doesn't say that. You have to come up with these percentages yourself, so we have to have that first.
I think actually you've only got to have the county and the city of Ashburn to agree. Now, we've always, worked with Rebecca and Sycamore, but you've only got to have those two. If it's the same as it is in Block.
So let me ask you this, Commissioner. Do Rebecca and Sycamore, do they implement a property tax at all?
They do, but what I'm saying is if you do it the same way with Splash, only the county and the city, am I right? Right.
It's 50%.
So if it's 50% would be
then
Ashburn.
Ashburn.
So we would meet that threshold.
Well, we
We
wanna talk
always
about all
include
three.
Sycamore and Rebecca.
Okay.
He said he gets the hand, they get the tan, we get the five.
Got it. So.
Look after us, Nate.
With that information, we would be able to meet the 50% threshold that we need just by using the county and Ashburn. So we need to have those conversations with Ashburn as well as keeping City of Rebecca, Sycamore in the loop. But we need to go ahead and start getting those conversations started.
Do you know when the percentage has to be? Is it on the ballot? Is it a question on the, so we have to have it before you print? Can you print a month out or?
The election is November 4th. I have 3 weeks of early voting prior to that. So realistically, the end of August, which is 30 days from now.
And which board member would like to handle those negotiations?
Chairman.
Your advice, and I nominate you.
I'd be glad to have that discussion with cities. Are you giving me the authority to go with my recommendation?
I've given you the authority to begin the nominations on behalf of the board.
But do I have the authority to, if I say 50, 25, 10, 5, are you gonna support my number?
I think the board has to come to an agreement on the number.
So I'm just, no matter what I say, that's not gonna matter, then, it's just,
Do you have a number you'd like to propose to
Oh,
the
no.
board while we're here?
no, I hadn't even.
I would say do the same thing we do in Splash.
I know, I just,
That's what I would say as well.
so we all do it.
I'm good with that.
I'm fine with sticking to the same thing that we have as far as.
Save a lot of, arguing.
Oh, I'm good with that, we still want to discuss it. Agree, everybody's gonna agree. The splash numbers or the way we do splash?
The way we split it.
You're saying the number, the percentages. I will bring that up, and see what they say.
Alrighty, any more discussion on Frost? The next one is discuss purchasing a new mower for Public Works. Oh, it's good, come on, it's getting spring today. Discuss the camera system at State Court. So, Mr. Calhoun?
Me?
You wanna talk about
I don't think we need a camera system, state court, if it's up to me to talk about it.
the invoice that was presented,
State court, y'all
You
know.
talking about the Casa building, right?
Yeah. That is state.
No, but I'm talking about the camera system that, the speaker system.
Oh, the speaker system.
That I got a quote for was to go down here, the people in the audience said they couldn't hear last week. And I got a quote from Flex and Cordell for, how much was it? You got?
Where are we at?
Let's go State Court, so.
Okay, I had nothing to do
That's
with
for
it.
all of y'all.
That's for all.
That's for all of y'all. The invoice that was sent out. You y'all
How
want
much
to?
was the invoice?
It was $7,000.
I think it was eight.
We talked about two different things.
I know, but the item on the agenda is the camera system at State Court. That was the $7,000 or $8,000.
That's where the state court is moving into the Casa building.
Yes.
But I don't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Do you
just
have
saying that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I have an opinion.
Okay.
It's only bid we got is the $7,000.
No, we got more than that.
Oh, I was off.
It's $8,817.
Is there more than one bid?
More than one from Cooper.
I haven't seen.
Sheriff Dick Cooper turned in a bid for that.
They're both from MCA.
Yeah, MCA.
Is it not, is there one not from MCA there? Mary Lee was supposed to come and Teresa was gonna come. MCA sent two bids. The first bid, Tim called them and told them that, there needed to be cameras in the annex, which is gonna be an annex, just like any other annex, gotta have security. So Tim called them, they came, and they just walked around, they didn't know where to put cameras at. So Jenny went and talked to, Teresa, and they went down and done a walkthrough of the building and put in the, security cameras where they needed to go to cover the areas that the state court personnel wanted. And also the, panic button, there'd be two panic buttons up there, one for CASA and one for the state court personnel, and then the key fob system to get into the building. So the NCA sent another, you get the upgrade bid?
I don't have that.
Okay, well, I didn't know that it was gonna be on the agenda. I talked to Mary Lee about it, this week in court. Y'all can pass this around. This is the one, I'm trying to pass it out, Brad. The back is
Where's the number on these?
the back is the diagram of what, state court personnel and Jenny went up and done it, and so there's. But like I said, I think that it's important for state court personnel to be.
$35,000.
What?
I'm giving it 7 now, or 8,000.
These are all required, or this is what they want?
What you want.
I'm required to do security for any courthouse, annex or courthouse. That being Mary Lee's, since she's elected, we contacted her and said, we wanna walk through with your personnel and you tell us where you want security at in that door. And that's where they said they wanted cameras. And so, there's gotta be some type of security. If it's not that, we'll have to go back and kick again and see what they're willing to downgrade to and what's gonna be safe. I'd be willing to, you know, if, Mr. Shield wants to get a letter typed up, all y'all sign it, saying y'all accept the liability, I'll be glad to let y'all sign it, and then we'll go with whatever y'all want to do.
As Ms. Whitney said earlier, I can't support that.
That's fine. You put your name at the top.
I'll be the first one to say.
Because you got to at least anyway.
You didn't laugh.
Is this a recurring cost? I realize you have all these cameras and these fees that seem like they recur every year. Is this something that we have to pay this fee every year, or is this a one-time installation and these cameras are gonna be sufficient?
That's one time for that. We don't pay that MCA yearly fee anymore. We found out it was cheaper to fix them as they break instead of paying the yearly maintenance fee. So we don't have very many cameras break, in the scheme of things, so it's cheaper for us to replace them as it goes instead of paying the yearly fee. Used to be Cooper Craft fee that we pay, we don't pay anymore because the MCA bought Cooper Craft. Which is Motorola.
So any recurring fees that we see for Coopercraft, or these, they're new cameras that are being purchased?
If there's an invoice like that MCA, it's for installation, it's not for, we don't have a recurring Cooper Craft anymore. We haven't had it for 3 or 4 years.
Any more discussion on the camera system at State Court? On number 3 now. Okay, one more discussion, number 4.
Before you move on, he brought up a good point, there's other companies out there that do security systems. The reason we use MCA is because they're on our network. And they're cleared security through GCIC. All our stuff runs on fiber. If it runs up the state court, if it runs wherever it runs, it's access to the same network GCIC. We only let certain people on that network. MCA is got clearance with GCIC, just like Robin Flanders, who does our security. He's cleared with GCIC, he's got a computer sitting in GCIC headquarters. So we don't let anybody put security into and get on our network.
Is that normal for a security company to not be, cleared through
It's-
GCIC?
Not everyone is, but if I talk to another one, other than Motorola, who we use for everything, they're gonna be at the same price range because they have to have clearance to get it to GCIC. So it's not like you can go to the company that's not required to do that and get a cheaper rate and then be able to be cleared security wise. But I've been through, a situation where all our data was encrypted back years ago, because we didn't have a network security person. And so now since Robin does our security and secures everything on a separate network and it's downloaded to that, we run a whole lot different risk than we did before when we didn't have anybody doing our security. Luckily, we had just changed over, our server, and so they only got a couple weeks of data encrypted, and we told them to keep rocks. But they had just got $2 million from Atlanta to unencrypt the data for them, so we don't wanna be in that situation where we're just letting anybody get on our network.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think my point is that MCA and Robin aren't the only people who are.
That's right, they're not.
There are a lot, if you're a security company, more than likely you're gonna be certified to do GCIS security. So we could technically get other bids.
We could if I did it that way, but they're already embedded in the bill, and I'm not gonna change.
But you got like key fobs.
If there was $50,000 difference in the price, then I would definitely not want to spend $50,000. But you're talking about $50,000 difference between what one company does and another company does, I'm not gonna change from one that's already embedded in everything we got, including our radio system.
The key fobs, that's a.
You don't have to have the key fobs. You know, when you punch that code into the courthouse, into the annex over there, it don't keep a data log. We data log anybody that comes in and out of our building through key fob. So I can tell you who key fob come in my building at what time. But we're talking about a difference in security level too. We're talking about criminal history information that's inside our building. We're talking about computers that have hard drives with that information on it. We can't just let somebody punch a code in and go, well, who come in that day? I can look back at a data log and say, well, so-and-so came in at this time and they left at that time. And so I get what you're saying, but yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna refer to Mary Lee because that's her business. That's her, I'm not gonna try to justify or not justify something that she thinks she needs or don't need. I would rather her be here and answer those questions.
Do they have it now?
Now, yeah.
The courthouse has key fobs on the building, yes.
On the courthouse,
Right.
on their door.
Not on her going into her building, no.
So you don't know who goes into her building now.
Not because of not my recommendation, it's because she's elected. I can't tell her she got to put cameras in her building or not, or keep off on her building or not. So I'd rather her be here to ask you for what she needs for her building. Even though I'm in charge of security, I gotta make sure it's secure somehow, whether it's a punch code or an alarm system or whatever.
No more discussion on that one. Thank you, Sheriff. The next one is on number 4. Discuss repairs at the election building.
Okay, you got the engine?
That file number 8, Deep South Construction.
Yes.
This is an invoice for $33,000. Vinyl, carpet, trim.
That sounds a little expensive to me.
That's the only bid we got, right?
That's the only one that showed up to be, they're going 4 people, that's the only one that showed up.
You're just talking about putting vinyl flooring in, that's it. 33,000 for it.
That's to remove what's there. And replace that.
The bid was in the paper, and we only got one person that.
Did you just run in the local paper? We don't need to run it in some other paper. I mean, you know, tell you, wherever, get some more.
I mean, is that the only top floor, I mean, what are we, I mean, carpet,
That was the floor I was told to be.
told?
Remember we had the discussion, and probably a year, 18 months ago, we said go with the vinyl because of the traffic in there and the type of traffic and the fact that there are farmers coming
I mean, can we get some more options on what to put down? Too, I mean, is that a real, I don't know, is that a high dollar? something?
I don't know what, I just know we decided on vinyl, I was thinking
They
it's a
have
sticky down
$4,000
vinyl.
per plank. And they have.
It's that plank vinyl that just about everybody uses now, that's what you need.
Oh, $7.50
Just for high traffic area.
per plank for a 4,000 plank.
That,
I
that's.
didn't really realize.
Yeah, all right, do we need to do the whole, does that building need to be restructured? I mean, if you're not using all that main room or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they use everything.
That's just a lot of money for a floor.
I would disagree, but I'm just saying they use the entire building, so. I mean, you've got a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, 3 storage areas, the main area, then the area that Jan and her staff, and then there's another room back behind that. That's a pretty big building. You can start chunking it
I'm
up.
gonna look at just doing the high traffic areas now, and then we're going to spare room.
That's why it's gonna be redone to where people are coming in.
What, the bathroom is cement, right? It's just rough, just painting cement in the bathrooms?
The bathrooms and the kitchen are cement, but when they painted the walls, I'm sorry, paint ended up on the floors in the bathroom, and the paint's been scraped off in spots. The room where the equipment is stored, they have slid the racks to be able to paint the walls, and there's huge tears in that carpet in that room. So realistically, the entire front part of the building is carpet and would have to be redone. Now, I toured the high school last week. The new floors they put down there are gorgeous. I have no idea how the cost of that compares with the materials on this. And it's more of a vinyl, never wax, no seal, just wet mount.
I'd like to hear from a contractor on a suggestion on what to use. That's not a high traffic building, I know you say that's a lot of people, that's not a, I mean,
Well, we use, the post uses it monthly too, so we have 40, 50 people in there.
Was this part of a budget, is this a part of a budget already, or is this just something that just kinda came out of the air?
We've been discussing this for 4 or 5 years. I think Deep South and, Mitch Morlock did it 4 or 5 years ago. And that's part of the problem is we keep bidding it and we don't pursue it, and then everybody decides they don't want it. Even submit a
She
bid.
had some money in her budget to cover it this year.
Yeah, I had money left over last year and money left over this year, which would have been a considerable dent into the cost of it.
And for the current and coming budget that we've given you, is there?
She doesn't have any building maintenance in there.
I had nothing.
That's all good, building maintenance, okay.
The part of the issue is I think this was probably the original carpet that was ever put down. I am not opposed to terrazzo. Tear out the carpet, get down to the concrete, put terrazzo over. But I don't know cost-wise if the labor's gonna be, you know.
I don't know what terrazzo is.
It's the fact the carpet has been down for years, the stains will not come out of it, now the runs are in the carpet. So the quality of the flooring, it looks terrible. But I'm open to anything, I do not want carpet. I've already had to clean fresh tar off of somebody's boots years ago. We get too much mud and everything. We've got too much traffic coming in and out of the building to make carpet reasonable. And that's why we
I
went.
think the first thing is we need to advertise wider to get some better options, and then don't stipulate what the flooring is, tell them it's a high traffic area and ask them to suggest a solution.
I agree with that.
Speaking of carpet, the carpet in the old part of the annex is terrible. I mean, it's atrocious.
Renee's
Probably worse than
been
that.
wanting that done for years.
I just don't see how that building got all that money spent on it in that one part, didn't it? I don't understand that.
Well, that was a new construction.
Which was a new construction?
The annex to the building.
That was the ADM contract.
So I think we have a consensus that we wanna get more bids on this. I guess that's what we'll be voting on next week, to get more bids. Does that sound?
Yes.
Next thing is, purchasing, and sorry, Jan, this has been delayed for
That's
about
fine.
5 years. I know that must be frustrating. Discuss purchasing a new mower for Public Works.
Was this in your budget, Dustin?
I was asked by a few commissioners about our dirt road was rolling up, asked them could I rent a new mower, rent another mower to help mow the roads. Right now, I got the sidearm mower and the Hitachi running out, mowing roads right now too. About 2016, 2017, the county had 2 sidearm mowers, both were sold and only one brought back, so the county ain't got one sidearm mower, when they always had 2 running. Well, I've gone around, you can't rent a sidearm mower, nobody rents them. Only, that one I'm showing y'all, they lease them, but only to the state for a year, they won't lease them to nobody else. So I'm just bringing this option to y'all. It's got the financing in the back for using after the end of that financing. we own it.
They like these too.
Yeah, Tiff County's got 2 of them, DOT's got one. They said that they have no breakdowns like the one we got now.
What we have, Steve's in the shop, and I get phone calls regular on, we're not maintaining the sides of the road.
It's a tractor with a attachment on it, that ain't made for Texas people.
Well, we've got a lot of expensive farm equipment that's getting tore up because we're not able to maintain
And
the roads.
that one's got a 33, it's kind of extended though, so it can get up high as this one down the road to help with that.
Like in a window, somebody out on the highway the other day, we shouldn't get limbs on the highway.
And the first payment on this will be in, not the current budget, we're trying to get it approved, but the following year's budget.
Yes, this is a one-time payment, we're just gonna hold it off to after the next year.
Is that all the equipment that you need? Any more surprise, new, big purchases that are gonna continue to pop up?
For that.
Any more discussion on this one? Okay, discuss audio system for Board of Commissioner, am I on the right one? Yes? Meeting.
That is, some of the, I think Dustin may have got a bid too. I called, after the last meeting we had, there was some citizens, some of them disgruntled, some of them not, but they had some comments about they could not hear in the back. I don't know if y'all hear tonight or not, and they wanted a speaker system so they could hear us discussing county affairs. So I got a price of $4,500, and that was supposed to be a cheap one, to put up speakers up here, and I suppose at the podium, and some Bluetooth speakers at the back. That was a little more than I was anticipating, so I'm not recommending this. This was Southern Music and Cordell, and I think, Dustin, did you get a bid?
Yeah, there's that 145.
I thought you had another. No, Robin didn't have some, I thought he had one. Wasn't none of your
Yeah,
guys?
so on Amazon, you can get them for like $1,500.
I'm good with that.
I found something for 30,000. It comes with 6 mics for the board, 1 wireless mic for the stand, and it comes with a small speaker, and it's all portable. So if we need to move to the other room to have a meeting, all of it can move.
That sounds
Maybe
better
that's one of
than,
the tricks we fixed.
this was mounted, so.
6, it'll be 6, so that's 5. So, that
Six,
could be
7,
7.
8.
I think you can buy an add-on one if you need to. They got a wireless.
This
It comes with 7 total, so we get one more.
Well, this says how many?
There's 8 of them.
8?
I don't think we need a massive system.
I agree.
Something that's portable as well, because if we're moving to a bigger room and we got everything installed in here,
Well, I asked him about something cheaper and he didn't really wanna go, so.
I like that. Portable idea. Gives us flexibility.
Or we speak up.
okay, well, we can see if there's an additional one we can add on here, and we can just present all 3 to the board next week and we can make a decision. Any more discussion on this? The next one is discuss telephone bill with Commissioner Brad Calhoun.
I asked for this to be put on there. When we went over the telephone, I think you sat in on those meetings 2 or 3 years ago. We was changing from Windstream to a digital, all better. And we were paying $80 or $90 a telephone line, I believe. And this comes in at $30. Our new system is $30 a line. And I'll use Robbie, wherever he's at, as an example. When you say $30 a line, in my thinking, we had 2 lines at EMS. We had a 2501 and a 3501. Well, that's $60. That's gonna be a savings. The way that's how we used to do telephones. We'd have 2 lines and we'd put 10 phones in the house. Well, the way they do it now, for everywhere you put a phone, that's $30. So if you put them in the day room, in the bedrooms, in the offices, you're gonna go over what we originally had, with the new system. So I asked some of the department heads to look at their phones and see if they could get rid of some. And I believe Dustin said Tim had an office that he didn't use the phone, and Kevin had off. I think we should, I just mentioned 2 or 3, but we should ask in my opinion, we should ask department heads and elected officials to look at their phones, and if they don't need that many, we have, the Click came to me and said, we got as many phones as we got employees. The landline phones. So, and I think in the EOC, there's 6 phones in the EOC. Well, the way I thought it was designed is Latrice, EMS, fire, when they go to the EOC, they unplug their phone and they take it to the EOC and they plug it in. It's got all of that phone, you're just hooking into data or whatever the term is. Yeah. All your phone numbers, your contacts is on your phone, so you're just like you're sitting at your desk at your office. There's really no need to have a phone down there. The city of Ashburn is not on Click Broadband, so I know we would have to have one for the city of Ashburn. Or they can get on Click, they can buy a $30 phone themselves. That's a different subject. But I just think we ought to have all the department heads and elected officials look to see if they could save. We're going through a budget, we're just trying to save some money. And, if y'all got phones y'all don't need,
There's 200,000, 230,000.
there's where we can save money on the phone system, do it. I think Tim said that the inmates have got some phones back there, the lawyers have got phones. Lawyers are gonna use their, let me correct Nick, I don't run a jail, but the lawyers, I suppose, are gonna use their cell phone and not a landline phone. I may be wrong, I have no idea. But if there's some places,
I have an obligation by law to have a phone where they can contact their attorney, but it not being on a recorded system, it can't be on none of the recorded stuff we got, it's gotta be separate, so I have an obligation to do that.
okay, so that would, but I don't know how many of you need. I don't know how many you got either, but I don't know. Yeah, I just meant if y'all could look and see.
We got some of these.
Robbie, you can get rid of.
I got 3 I get rid of.
So there's $90 a month right there, Robbie can do, and I know he had 60. So wherever we could save some money at, that was just my suggestion. So, if y'all like it. I think we have one down here, also, we have a phone down here. And do we need it? That's up to y'all, I've never used it, but.
Turn it back in.
And I think Latrice said we got multiples up there in our office too. I think we should just look at it, everybody look, see where you can get rid of phones. And let us know next week, and we'll get rid of a few phones. Joe may have 2 or 3 extras in his office. I got one, we've got 3, and I really need to keep 2 of them at my desk and Herman's desk, but the office in the center, that one can go. There's $30 more right there. Look at us making headway. Get Blake his money, get enough phones.
Okay, well, so this system, just so I'm clear from like how we get to where we are, we started a new system, Click, and it was supposed to be savings, and it actually wasn't.
It wasn't, right now, I know Robbie's phone, he personally said his was higher.
Yeah, I've seen in the budgets that all the phones are like,
Well, and and the other thing, we didn't, I mean, I ain't a technical person, but they're still using that, I don't even use fax machines in my business no more. You can email anything anywhere in the world. Like Robbie said, he has to have a fax machine. And I don't know, Jan's gotta have a fax machine. But there's, how many, I think we got 6 or 7 of them in the county or more.
but is that true though? That we thought this new company was gonna be cheaper and it seems like it's not.
Well, it is cheaper per phone. The problem is we have a lot of phones that are not really necessary that we didn't recognize when we were looking strictly at the cost per price, and we just made some assumptions, and now we have an inventory, and the inventory is much larger than we realized.
Right.
So we just need to reduce our inventory.
It's like for the EMS department, we had 9 phones spread out, because we may be in a certain area. And so that's just 2 lines, 2501, 3501, you just paid for 2 lines. But when they said you want to replace the phones, I said, sure, because it's supposed to save money, put the digital in, and didn't know we were paying $30 per phone instead of the $80 for a line, so that's the reason I knew with what was budgeted for my phone, I was gonna be over budget, I'm over budget this year.
Yeah.
This past year.
But we recognized it, we're trying to
Yeah.
fix it. I mean, I don't think we did nothing wrong when we signed the contract.
No, I
We just, it didn't work out as
Yeah,
good.
that's all I'm saying is.
I think we should have done an inventory. In hindsight, we should have done an inventory first and then said, okay, if we go to this, which phones do we need to eliminate to ensure we still save money?
And then the follow-up question is, after these phones are, these couple of phones we're gonna get rid of, is it then gonna actually be the savings that we expected or not?
I'm just, whatever we can save, we can save. There's no sense in paying for something if we're not gonna use it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I wanna pay for that phone to sit right there.
I don't.
So I believe that it will.
You believe that it will?
Because we were looking at the old school landline concept, right? So Robbie had 2 lines, so we were thinking $60, so we were gonna save instead of paying 80 per line.
That's it.
But once they opened the door to putting and we didn't realize they were charging per location. So I think that in the end, we will save money,
Fingers crossed.
assuming people will be willing to give up phones.
Great, thank
They
you.
were supposed to give up paper towels for hand dryers, and still haven't done that.
So we got, Commissioner Calhoun on the project, so.
Hand towels, no, I agree with them. I would.
On the phones.
I don't like them blowers either. I like the hand
Then
towels.
why did you sign the ADM contract?
It was a mistake.
Okay, then.
Any more discussion on phones? Brad is on phone collecting duty.
Sure.
The next one is discuss reevaluation issues and updates with property taxes.
Mr. Wright's here.
Okay. Mr. Joe Wright, our tax assessor.
See you, sir. You too, sir. We just got the figures today, or I would have given you that number earlier, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit. All right, I wanna address first the issue, and then there's a couple issues I'd like to address and offer an explanation, and then I'll be glad to take any questions. But what I've done here, this map that I printed, and I put 2 little stars on 2 of these parcels. And what this is Washington Avenue at the I-75 corridor. And so there's been some questions here, about the values out there, because people in the industrial park back here behind them to the north, or south, excuse me, were assessed at a higher price per acre than our prime commercial real estate on the main drag coming off of right there on the interstate. And it was a reasonable question by all means. And, so at first glance, when you think $30,000 an acre on this property, you know, my first thought was maybe a typo. Maybe he meant to type in 300,000 and then put a decimal in there, reducing it by 100% or 1,000%. So, but after we further researched it, the reason I started these two parcels is the one on the back. Anytime we have a main corridor here on some high priced properties, you'll have a main subrecord, which will have frontage on Washington, and then there's a secondary for the lots that are in that subrecord, but they don't actually have the frontage on Washington, which is what drives the value in this particular area. So the car wash had sold, and the $30,000 an acre fit to the T with that property valuing it at what it sold for. All right, same thing, the parcel that's starred, that's pink, that's the Burger King now that we have. Well, when that property sold for $450,000, it had the Pizza Hut on it. And so it was qualified as an improved sale, and that improved sale also worked with the $30,000 an acre, running our statistical analysis when our land team was developing these schedules. So it was not a 0 or 2 getting dropped. It was a simple fact that that statistic returned a favorable value when using that $30,000 an acre, because the land team was not aware that that $450,000 was actually purchased. It was the purchase price for the property, because the intent all along was to go in and raise the Pizza Hut and build the Burger King. And so this issue has been corrected for 2025. I'll need the numbers of those people in an industrial park, because when these people call me this year, I want to be able to give them their number. So they can call and think, I'm just joking. We don't pass the blame, and I take full responsibility, because I should have caught this through the audit process. We have a lot of audit processes in place when we do these reevaluations, and the sky's the limit for the reports that we develop. But you cannot eliminate human error 100%. It happens, but like I say, I take responsibility, and we're going to correct it for 2025. This included 15 parcels, is what was affected. And I know there's been some numbers thrown around about $500,000 that we're missing, and my company making mistakes. As I said, we're human, we make mistakes. I found another handful of some things that were not addressed correctly that we've also addressed in 2025. For instance, you take a property that splits. I'm selling off some of my vacant acreage and maintaining my house and some acreage. And so when that parcel splits, the one with the house, the new parcel might not be in the new shape file that's added onto the iPads when the guys are in the field doing the field reviews. So that house didn't get reviewed, therefore it did not get updated in value like some of the others should. We had some scenarios like that we've got. So we're doing our best to go back and learn from these type of mistakes. But I wanted to point out that of these 15 parcels, for what they'll be valued in 25 versus what they were valued in 24, there's a total difference of $6,843,200 in 100% fair market value. And that's indicated on that spreadsheet that I handed you. Now, if you convert that to the 40% assessed at the 13 mills for the county, that equates to $35,584. So yes, that's a lot of money. That means a lot to us. That can pay an employee's annual salary. So I apologize, it was missed. It's going to be corrected, but it's nowhere near $500,000. So now I want to address that and hopefully offer an explanation of where we are with the revow that took place in 2024. Normally, Renee does, let me preface that statement because I changed my mind about what I was going to say. Renee always does an excellent job in collections. Her collection rate generally is 99.5% or so. It's almost impossible as a tax commissioner for us to collect 100% because we can't avoid the fact you're going to have bankruptcies, you're going to have deadheads that just refuse to pay regardless of how many FIFAs that we issue. So, but you can't hardly beat 99.5%. There's a lot of counties out there that have 90 to 95% percentile. So she does an excellent job at collecting taxes. And I went back and looked. Normally our taxes are billed in October, or late September to 1st of October, due by December 20th. So by this time of year, we've already had some FIFAs issued, we've had some tax sales. And so for fiscal year end 2024, she was at 97.48% on her collection rate. As of today, I went and spoke to her, and she's at 99.51% on the 2023 taxes. So now we're talking about 24 taxes where our shortage is. as of today, because our taxes didn't go out until January with everything that was going on, we had to get the appeals under 8% because of the revale. And so, as of today, she's 82.82%. And so there's still a lot of money out there that's gotta be collected, and the bills were not even due till April 15th. So we hadn't even got to a point that we can issue FIFAs and start having tax sales to get people encouraged to come in and pay. Plus you have the fact that on these 850 appeals that we had, or actually I think it wound up being a little over 900, those have to be billed by law at 85%. So you've got that 15% value sitting out there just showing as uncollected. Plus the public utilities, they were billed this week. That's gonna be another $350,000, which because of the reval, it's $350, it would've been $300,000 if we had not done the reevaluation. So there's some positive things that have come out of this too, from a revenue standpoint. And so I think at the end of the day, it's just everything is kind of kicked down the road because of the process that has to take place and go along with the reevaluation. But I think at the end of the day, the money's coming. Now, I can't guarantee you that $4 million is gonna show up at 100% or 99.5%. I think that might have been a little aggressive on the revenue line item with the reval taking place and the fact that we knew there was gonna be some growth. But we also had to have the rollback, which we rolled back even a little further. And so, all things considered, there's more money coming. And that 350 will come in pretty quick because these public utilities are anxious to pay. They're ready to close out their books for 2024. And so I feel like you'll see that revenue trickle in pretty quickly once these bills hit. So, and just for curiosity's sake, I went and I looked at your PT 32.1 for 24. And had this $6.8 million been included in the inflationary growth that we had to roll back, it's crazy. Your millage rate, rollback rate was 13.4, and y'all set it at 13. If this hadn't been added, your mill rate would have been 13. And so it still would have been a wash at about that $35,000. So, but we're getting there. The appeals are going well. We have more BOEs today. We got more scheduled for tomorrow. I went to look today. We've lost about 8,000 tax dollars, and I did take time to convert that. But if you take about 13 times 2.5, that'll kind of tell you the value loss that we've lost in the appeal process. But 99.9% of it has been where factual data was presented that we were not aware of, doing external reviews, things where they brought pictures of things going on inside, or but as a general rule of thumb, the Board of Equalization has been very supportive in looking at the data and upholding our values and not listening to the argument of my taxes went up 100% and my value doubled. Unfortunately, over the last 17-year period, and since this has been done, we've seen that. And we're having to go up again for 2025. That's our goal now, is to keep y'all compliant on an annual basis and hopefully help people get adjusted to it, but at the same time, hoping and praying that Herman and I can survive. So, but, I mean, it's what people are continuing to pay. It's unreal. But unfortunately, it don't matter where they're from, it says the market. And I tell people all the time, if I grew up in Turner County and I go to Nick and I wanna buy his farm, I'm willing to give you $2,000 an acre, but then Florida boy comes in and knows what kind of deer you got on your property, he's willing to give you $5, who are you gonna sell it to? And that's the same thing we're seeing on residential property, where these people are selling out with all this equity and coming in here paying cash and got this 1031 money that's gotta be spent. And so they're paying what we think is an unrealistic price, but unfortunately it's what the market is nowadays. So does that kind of help everybody understand the issues that came up? Have y'all got any questions for me?
You said you was gonna have to do the reeval again?
We're not doing a total reval. Generally what we do now, and with y'all having us under maintenance, is we'll analyze each class of property. And so our commercial and industrial property is not as active as residential and ag. So the values that were placed on there for 2024 will uphold and keep us compliant for 2025. Residential based costs will have to be updated again because the house sales have continued to escalate. And what I did in 2024 is already non-compliant. And if we didn't raise values, we'll be right back assessing our public utilities at a rate less than 40. We're doing land on a as needed basis. We identify the hot spots and we'll update price per acre. We'll update base on ag, small tracts, large tracts. We can adjust accessibility, desirability. So it's more of a schedule value update based on the sales and then apply, but not actually doing a total revaluation.
So when you reeval the houses again, we're already late. Is it gonna get done
I don't anticipate we'll see the kind of response that we did in 2024. I mean, it's not just Turner, we have to do it everywhere, and
But as long as if you raise the value of the house, as long as we lower the millage to coincide.
that, plus you got 581, in fact, that we established that base for 2024, so even though, if your house is $100,000, I send you a notice for 150, then you're gonna be taxed on that 100 for 24 base, and the $50,000 increase for 25 is gonna be applied as a homestead exemption. Now, that's all our homestead properties, which we have over 2,200. So hopefully that will push away a lot of appeals when they realize my taxes aren't changing, but my value, yeah, maybe it is worth that. But then non-homesteaded properties, and there again, your ag supported by, or protected by CUBA. You know, a lot of these farmers have been no-shows at the BOEs because when y'all roll back the millage rate, they got the tax bill, and the taxes actually went down on a value that doubled. And so, but we still had to bill them at 85%, so that's still that uncollected money that's sitting out there because they just didn't understand that to begin with. But I was talking to John White, we're gonna have a board meeting, probably tomorrow or Thursday. And pretty much all my recommendations are ready, and pending their approval, we'll upload and hopefully mail next week, so that would put us bill time mid-September-ish. And I don't anticipate we'll get over 8%. I'm doing enough value updates that will still be my benchmark and not 5%. And so I feel like we can turn right around, upload the digest, and get back on October 20th to December 20th.
You ain't gotta go out to the houses
Well, we review 1/3 of the parcels
every year.
every year now anyway. And so no, I don't anticipate us ever having to do all 5,500 parcels in 1 year because we're doing 1/3 of that each year.
Still a lot.
Thank you. Question, just so I'm
Yes.
clear. So I ran the property tax revenue today, and as of today, we are at 3.2 million, and we projected 4, so we're in a deficit of $786,000. Can you mention that we have 900 appeals? I know Renee expressed that she had billed 3.5, and if she's billed 3.5, that's including the 85%.
That's true.
Do you feel like out of these 900 appeals, people are going to be paying more than that 85, is what you're saying?
Right. The general rule of thumb is they're gonna get a bill for the additional 15%. It's the rare occasion when they don't get an additional bill and we have to issue a refund.
Mm-hmm. And do we know the total number of the bills that are in appeal?
Well, I mean, we resolved some, and I could get that number for you, but I don't have it tonight.
But the big amount of money is gonna be the railroad utilities, 350,000, so that's gonna kick out.
That was already expected, right? That's already budgeted and expected, so it's coming, but it was already expected to come, so it's not. I mean, but we already know that's coming. It's not.
Right, that was what he's saying is that will cut that in half because they haven't paid anything because we were billing 40% until we finish the reevaluation.
So that 3.2 is gonna go to
It's
3.5.
gonna impact property tax?
Yes, because the utility companies, we wanted to be in compliance, otherwise we couldn't bill them at 40%.
That got us another 50,000.
Yeah, so,
So the 350,000 is, related to the property tax line?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what y'all was talking about, we weren't gonna be $500,000 short. When Renee gives me the numbers, we're $500,000 short when I'm talking. But when that 350 comes in and all the appeals come in, I hope we're where we are supposed to be.
well, we're $786,000 short right today.
At the 3.7.
No, at the 4 that we budgeted for last year.
I'm just trying to get 3.7.
Well, but that's for this coming year. Last year you guys budgeted 4 million.
I'm showing 611 as of today, on today's report. I'm not sure when y'all's report was provided.
You're showing 611 what?
That's uncollected.
I have 785 property taxes from Quincy.
Did she have a check?
I'm gonna go with that.
Maybe she has a check that she hasn't delivered to Latrice.
I hope so.
Okay, so you're going on what's actually been paid by the tax commissioner to the county. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I'm sure there's, especially with it being the end of the month, I'm sure it's time for disperse payments to y'all and the school.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Good job.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Next item is chairman comments. My only comments today are just that, I've been working with the, SGRC on the grants, on what potentials we have for grants, and right now there are 2 grants that we can pursue. One is the, RTP grant, which is through DNR, and it's a Trails Program grant. And the other one is for our health department. So we're having, discussions around what steps we need to take for each of those grants. The RTP grant for the trails, which would support the project that I would like us to do at the 41 complex with the playgrounds and the walking trail. There's a few things that we need to do to get in compliance, which Latrice, I'll be discussing with you some. There's a few things that we need to, there's a couple of surveys that we're supposed to do every year that we haven't done yet that need to get filled out. And the application opens for this grant on September 1st. So I will hope by the not next week's meeting, but the following meeting, I will be able to present to you all an application, and get more feedback. We have a really good chance of getting this grant. The SGRC feels like, they have been awarded this grant, other communities, and we're using the base that other communities have used to obtain this grant, and that's the same for the health department grant. So there are 2 really quality grants that our county, could secure, but, the RTP grant will require matching funds. That's why I have requested that those funds be put into our budget, while the grant for the health department won't require any matching funds, and that would be the CDBG grant. Those are my updates. I know they've also, reached out to me about the Mercer grant as well. Do you have any updates on that?
I talked to her today, actually had lunch with her today, and it's, still in the works. It's, she's got a lot of contacts, and, it's just gonna be a process.
Okay. I know the RGC said that, she had reached out and there was a confirmation that the grant that she mentioned in the meeting, we didn't qualify, that project did not qualify for that grant. So, I just wanted to be sure if, I'm still not sure what the grant is that one, that we're going for that one, because the RGC said we didn't qualify for the grant that she was trying to get. So, I don't know how that's going, so thank you for the update. Those are my only comments. Any other discussion on those comments? All right, public comments, are there any public comments?
Y'all mentioned advertising the work in other places, papers. If Latrice will give me a list, I can get you a bid, an amount, and save you some money with my sales agreements. And you get one bill, bunch of newspapers. And save money.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right,
Chairman, I'd like to say something. I would just like to, I know we're on the subject of budget tonight and have been for a while. Just like to say that the EMS had a banner year. It can't be guaranteed every year, but we were budgeted for $575,000 revenue. We, came in with like $808,000. So about $225,000 over revenue. A lot of that was the upper limit payments, but that's still a good thing. But we were about $225,000 to the good, which kind of helps with what's happening with the property taxes. Thank Donna's busted her butt this year.
way to go, Donna.
Yes.
I can verify those numbers as well, and Dana was just taking a look at those. As we're looking at, all of the departments that are currently over budget for the year. We budgeted $11.9 million. last year for the county budget, and we're already at 12.64. So we are at $716,000 over budget for the year. There are all of these amendments that still need to be added, as we do every year, all these budget amendments. But currently, based off of what we budgeted, we're $716,000 over budget. Several departments are included, while we are $1 million under budget in revenue. So, just so everyone can have a sense of what our financial standings look like right now. Thank you, for your work, Riley, you and Donna. Any more comments any more public comments before we go into executive session?
I'd like to make a statement.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you come up here?
Oh, sure, if you would like.
Don't get,
I'm not gonna hit you.
don't crack.
I'm not gonna cry. All right. I believe that the county commissioners made an error, I believe, in not advertising to hire a new tax assessor when Kim Hanna retired, and then giving the job to a for-profit company to first reassess all the properties in the county and then allowing them to rubber stamp those assessments, as they were also given the job of tax assessor in the county. Checks and balances are important. I've ran businesses, I understand that. If a for-profit company comes into your area and promises to bring you certain dollar amounts, when there's so many mitigating variables that can change those amounts, first take that with a grain of salt. Remember that they're in business to make a profit, to make money, so they will sell themselves to you in a positive light. Trust but verify. Errors in appeals, for instance, have proven to make a difference in the county's budgeting this year. If the county monies are budgeted based on original proposal given that by that company and things fall short, then this is an issue for the county residents to speak out on before it spirals further out of control. Spending other people's money is easy. It always has been, it always will be. But is it right to take the word of a company coming into the area without having all the facts in front of you? This county is over double the U.S. poverty rate with 11.1%. That's the U.S. poverty level. Turner County is at 23.9%. Businesses are not moving in, and others are actually leaving the county for whatever reason. You can't tax the remaining people into oblivion when they see that Turner County is not a thriving housing market, as was given for the reason for the tax increases. According to the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget report on county population projections, we're heading downwards, and by 2030, they're estimating that we will have a population of 8,582, which is approximately 500 less people in this county than our current rate, which is not a big county to start with. That means less tax dollars will be coming in as well, unless we reverse course. You might be shocked by that, but when industries leave and schools are failing our children, it does not attract people or businesses to come to this area. In my opinion, it appears that this tax situation was not taken seriously enough by the commissioners. It was probably a lot of wishful thinking after hearing the proposed dollar amounts that it would be raising. Until I went in to do the research for our tax appeals hearing tomorrow, I had no idea what was going on. We've never filed an appeal. My eyes have been open, and I'm not happy as a resident nor as a business owner looking at the research, and that includes the school board salaries as well. This county needs to get back on course, needs to cut back on things that are not necessary, and do an extraordinary job on those things that are necessary. For example, I work with people who've had so many issues with their local water bills, and that's just crazy to me. I've never heard of water bills being that high in my life, and they should not be. I work with a young person who recently told me they did not get a good education in this county, and they're struggling to make high enough on the ASVAB to join the military and qualify for the job that they want. They were very good in sports, but that does not give them the future, in most cases, to thrive if you don't have a good education. It is my opinion that having a business mindset is the only way to correct the situation in our county. You have to budget by department, go line item by line item, and this means you have to review salaries as well. Things will have to be cut while we get this county back on track. You have to go forward the right way to reverse course on this county's trajectory, and I can tell you, it will be painful. But if it's not done, this county will be done,
and that will be a shame. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. And your name, ma'am?
My name is Kelly Davidson.
Okay. Thank you for coming to speak with us. Sharing those comments.
I'd like to make a response back to
Please.
Thank you, that was a very well, spoken speech, I appreciate your perspective. Two things. When I came on this board, my question was, why have we done a property reevaluation? It's been 15 years. And I got lots of reasons, none I thought were justified for ignoring, reviewing property values. And so when you take 15 years and don't do that, it's traumatic. And in this county, when you have a significant number of individuals that are retired or nearing retirement, you can put them in financial jeopardy. So that was upsetting to me that we had done that. The reality is we had no choice. The state mandates certain things. We have to stay in compliance. And the sale of properties and folks coming in dictate a lot of that. And those are things outside our control. Doesn't mean I agree with them. It just means that's the reality we face. As to the budget process, I concur with you 100%. That's what the chair and I did, was a line item by line item review. And we looked at what was being asked for and what had been historically spent over the last 5 years. And we found significant variances between what was being asked and what had been historically spent. And we made decisions based on that. And recommendations, and we had conversations with department heads and constitutional officers as those anomalies occurred. In fact, our fire chief volunteered to make some adjustments in his budget to help us in that process through those discussions. That's how it's supposed to be done, not emotionally or based on relationships. I can be your friend, but in this seat, I have to make a decision what's best for the county. And that's not what's happened in the past, and I don't believe that's what's happening with this newly proposed budget. I think it's based on relationships and not on what is best for the community. And so, but I'm one vote, but I agree with you 100% on those things that I addressed. So thank you for your feedback. That's all I have, Chair.
Public comments more before we go into executive session. Okay, thank you, everyone. We're gonna go into, do I need a motion for that?
Motion to go into executive session for personnel, real estate, and litigation.
Second, all in favor? Okay, all right, thank you, everyone.
Somebody left their keys.
Yeah. You got it, I'll do it. Thank you, ma'am.